something, I will do a random Bible search. And I love that. That's part of our Epic 30 process, as you all know. And so let's do one. Let's do it. You got your phone. And of course, we like using the website, randombiblesearch.com. And hit the reset thingy. Next verse. That's good. That's fine. All right. So the verse is Luke 12:2 was the random verse that again, I believe God can meet us right where we are, anytime, anywhere. And this is our community Q&A and mentorship time. And so we did a random Bible search, God knowing that we wanted some wisdom or something to have for this. And it's Luke 12:2. And I'm just going to read it. There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. I'm going to read it again. There's nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, comma, pause, which, in the Bible there actually is no punctuation, or hidden that will not be made known. That's a powerful principle. It's a law. It's a principle. You will reap what you sowed. So it ties to God's principle of reaping and sowing. That's a very powerful, I believe, because again, we think at times that, oh yeah, we can keep this under wraps, or we've got this. And the reality is like, it's going to be made known. It's going to be disclosed. And so it's really about, are we willing to be vulnerable and open and honest? That's what that verse says to me. And so a lot of you in our community here are challenged by things. You're wondering, what if I tell them this has happened? Especially because we do mentorships with you. You might be fearful. Well, if I tell Carlos that I can't do this or that, is he going to shun me? Is he going to get rid of me? Is he going to kick me out of the community? I imagine, with the aggressive as I am, that it probably feels that way sometimes. That if you were to tell your truth in the moment or the things you're going through, I have great appreciation for people that push through that. My wife does it all the time. She's amazing. Um, we have clients we've worked with that will push through the fear of what Carlos is going to do or say or manipulate or convince, cajole, persuasion. Because I do. Yeah, I definitely have skills in that world. So you're right to be concerned about that. And and I've studied it a lot, and it's a lot of psychology in there. So, with that said, I mean, you got to push through. It's going to come out eventually.
I think that verse is really powerful because I often am, really encouraging people to be raw and vulnerable, real, no matter what, right? Why? I think the why is important, right? Because, the truth of the matter is it's kind of like, the law of gravity. It will come out eventually. No matter what it is, it's going to come out, right? So it's a matter of, do you want it to come out in time and, risk the potential of, further feelings of suppression, oppression, or, control, all of those things? Or do you want to communicate and bring things into the light?
That's good.
Therefore, that push through in that moment, I think is heavily rewarded by our papa. I think it's heavily rewarded with relationship, with the creation of more intimacy, deeper connection, right? Even in the midst of fear or whatever it is that is causing us to feel like we want to keep something under wraps, concealed, right? Whatever it is that causes that feeling,
It's good.
if we push through, I do. I truly believe that is a great verse in saying that will be rewarded. Like there, what is the benefit, right, of pushing through that? What is the benefit? And I do 100% in all of our experience in relationships, in our marriage, in our own marriage, in working with other people in their marriages, have seen the fruit of pushing through and being raw, real, and vulnerable, and communicating in spite of the fear, in spite of the yeah.
And it is amazing too, when I think about it. There's always like, this is the trait of the eagle. Now, some of you haven't, you're just starting in Connection DNA, our content, which is 8 weeks, 40 sessions. For those of you that haven't started it yet, Lester, we got to get you going on that, buddy. But we talk about the eagle. Where's the eagle?
I can't see.
I know. Show them the eagle right there. See the eagle up there? I know. The lion, the eagle, and the ox. And with that, the eagle is, when you study the eagle, which it's interesting that God chose to choose one of those faces to represent him. So it must be powerful. She's the queen of the air, spirit, beautiful representation of femininity in all their strength, visionary. But the one thing about the eagle that you will find, they fly towards the storm. That's insane. Why would you do that? There's a storm. You don't fly towards a storm. It's dangerous. You could die. You could, I don't know, right? I know I exaggerate.
Dramatic.
So dramatic. Um, Here's the truth of the matter, though. Just before they hit the storm, how storms are created, and get all somewhat scientific here because I don't really know the details, but I'm gonna pretend I know something. I learned this in school, and that storms get formed by hot and cold air, atmospheres. You can correct me, whatever the true term is, hitting each other, and it causes like this. It causes, which then creates circulation of moisture and things that dry and moisture, and then creates a storm, creates clouds, creates. It's really crazy, right? So then the storm. So right before that eagle hits the storm, guess what? They're soaring, they're flying right at the storm. Like, you're crazy, stop! It's like all the other animals are running away from the tornado and the storm, and it's so violent and thunder and lightning, and they're going right at it. But right before they hit that storm, they get launched to up to over 10,000 feet. Eagles can soar at over 10,000 feet, right? If you ever flew in a plane, you're like, you're now at 10,000 feet. Bing, you're safe to move about. Like, that's some of the time where they try to get above 10,000 feet because it's the sky is clear up there in most scenarios. It's crazy. So the eagle has that wisdom in instinct in them. And God is trying to use that as an example by saying, hey, that's the Holy Spirit telling you, go, fear not, don't shrink back, go towards the storm. That thing that scares the shit out of you, go do it anyways. You're going to get stronger doing it, right? And so the eagle flies towards the storm. They get a reward. They get launched above the storm. They're safe. They get to soar at 10,000 feet and just like, oh. So it's the reality of when you, it's going to be terrible, by the way, at times. Like when you face the things that you're fearful of, you face the things that trigger you, the traumas of your past that give you this story that you just know it's going to go bad. It might go bad. But guess what? The sooner you go, the sooner you face that thing, the sooner it can come to the surface. There can be clarity. She says it so well. And you might be able to see a different truth and a different story. It's exactly what we talked about Triggers to Triumph is all about. But are you open and willing? First step is like, okay, I'm going to go do this hard stuff. But then when you hit that storm, you can soar above it and have a different experience if you're willing. Or you're going to go through the storm and pain and hurt. But if you're willing to release, think about an eagle soaring. It's kind of cool. It's a cool visual. They're free. But if you go there like, you're going to go right in storm. Oh, I was going to pull up that verse. Sorry. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, I'm reminded of turbulence.
Yes. Wow, that's a good one.
Right?
Yes.
Talk about turbulence. Go ahead.
Well, go for it. I love it. I love what you have.
No, but I'm looking for something. So.
Okay, so turbulence. For those of you who haven't flown much, that's probably most of the people we work with. That maybe even you've never flown. So this little thing when you fly, you're on a plane. It's scary enough, right? To get in this machine, it defies gravity. It's the laws of gravity. That's a law, by the way, and that God set up, and we're able to overcome it by this jet propulsion, flying, soaring. Well, once in a while, there is this disruption in the environment, the atmosphere. And especially when you're coming down, even probably one of the worst places is in Arizona or wherever there's a desert and there's lots of heat coming off the ground. Because you're about to land and there's these heat waves, physical waves coming off the ground from how hot it is in the desert. Like I said, Arizona is one of the ones that are tough. We were just talking about this. And at Phoenix Airport or Tucson Airport, and you go to land before as they're coming to start, like the plane just goes up and down. And they're just like, okay, steady as she goes, steady. And they're trying to land this thing, and it's like bouncing up and down because there's these heat waves that create turbulence or different things. You could be actually flying over a storm, and there's different things as you're above the storm that could cause it, or they're going up through a storm, right? And there's the turbulence of shaking that plane and yeah. So you looked up something?
Well, so in the reason turbulence came to my mind, I see Lavina on here, and
Dead battery.
it actually makes me emotional when I think about this because what is turbulence? Carlos is describing it, but if we look from the eagle, from the bird's eye view, turbulence is temporary. Okay. So that feeling that you're going to crash, that feeling that, is unsettling, that feeling when you're pushing through,
It's good.
It's temporary.
So good.
And, it totally makes me emotional because it was Lavina's first epic intensive retreat. And there was a song that we played, and it's by Pink, and it's called Turbulence. And, it's I'll put it in the comments because it's a profound song, but it's really that description is so powerful when we think of pushing through the fear of being vulnerable, pushing through the fear of talking about our truth, our feelings, all of those things, right? And it's necessary, and it's just turbulence. It doesn't last forever. But here's the deal. If we hold on to the things, if we conceal the things, that's slow torture. That is what lasts. We're choosing to hold on to the trauma. We're choosing to hold on to the story that we've created in our head. When we are not willing to push through the fear of being raw, being vulnerable, being honest in all things, we are literally choosing to create permanence in our pain. So turbulence, when we're pushing through, and it's kind of like the sound barrier. This is the same thing, right? On the other side is the peace.
That's right.
On the other side is the freedom.
That's right.
On the other side is the intimacy in relationship. So if we're choosing not to be vulnerable and real, then we are choosing to hold on to our pain and allow it to control us.
So good. In the natural world, that is the solution for turbulence. If they pull back or slow down, there's going to be damage because they got to push through. They've got to, okay, let's increase speed a little bit. Let's get through this. It's the same. Like you
Study
said,
the
with
sound barrier.
breaking the sound barrier.
Study that. How many people died trying to break the sound barrier because they allowed the fear to consume them?
And they pulled
and
back.
They pulled back.
They shrunk back because of fear. And the one man who finally broke the sound barrier, he was all in. And he watched others die before him, die trying. And he said, I'm in. And he pushed forward.
But then guess what? Once people saw one man, then they knew it was possible.
And by the way, we have jets now that do it instantly almost. They because again, that's where the problem is. This is what's so fascinating. This is so awesome. So cool to talk about. Like all these new technology, supersonic jets, they're called supersonic because they break through the sound barrier fast, and then they can travel smoother, faster, better, and they can do it faster, which causes no damage to the plane. Versus before, when they were trying to do it, they would be shaking because they were slowly into it because they didn't know how much they could do or how much the human body could handle. There was all these unanswered questions. Sound familiar? Unanswered questions brings fear, doubt. That's why it's a spiritual thing. That's why then you have to be willing to release control of the outcome at times and trust the process and go for it. Make a decision. That was earlier my epic moments I was talking about. Decision is really what's super powerful. Don't let excuses keep you from making a decision. Don't put it off. Don't, because that's like, oh, you're like, shake it up and you're miserable. And like I make people very, very nervous because I make decisions and then I tell you, like, I'm nothing compared to my mentor. Nothing. Like, I'm like freaking training wheels. Like, seriously, this guy's insane. But he also doesn't have more than a 5-minute conversation with me. And he's a friend. But he's like, dude, I ain't got time. Bye. Oh, okay. He doesn't care. He's so insensitive. No, he makes decisions. He moves. He goes. Boom, boom. On to the next thing. On to the next thing. On to the next thing. And I'm like, this dude makes more decisions in a day than I make in a year. And then people say that to me. You're insane. I see your calendar, Carlos. That's crazy. I can't handle all the things you do and the decisions and the change and the transformation. I'm like, I know. I get it. I can totally understand where you're coming from. That's action, though. Decision is action. It's not right or wrong. Seriously. It's a decision to move forward. And then when you're moving forward and you go, oh my gosh, well, maybe I should have gone this way a little bit and decide to veer a little bit or do something different. They called it during COVID. It was the most famous thing they'd say, right? Everyone had to do what? Can you finish it for me? Pivot. Which is such a wise thing to say. You keep moving forward. You don't stop. You pivot. You adapt. You've been doing this for a season. That's good. Fight to the storm. It's powerful. It's very empowering.
So push through. Be raw, real, vulnerable, honest. You choose.
The sooner you do it, the sooner the pain can be over with. That's the bright
It's
side. Trying to look at the bright side.
it's really, I mean, it's really working a muscle, right? It's like going to the gym and doing a heavy, hard workout. You're literally just working a muscle. It's the same thing, right? It's painful. Yeah, it sucks. You might be a little sore, have some bruises. I dropped a weight on my foot today.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, dude.
pretty bruised.
Yeah.
But
See
guess
that?
what? It'll heal. Doesn't matter. Didn't break me.
Do your best. You might surprise yourself too. Just do the best with what you got. Going at the storm, you don't know what you don't know, right? And you're like, I'm scared. Well, that's where mentorship comes in. You know, you guys go through it. But that's what I could even say to you and recommend to you. When you get the opportunity to be mentored here today, today's a community mentorship. Yeah, it's group mentorship. Send us a private message. It's still mentorship. What are you dealing with? What are you going through? Let us help you. And it's not that, we have all the answers. However, we've done a lot of work on ourselves with others. We've been through a lot over the years. And so, again, we're just going to give you our experience and what we've been through, and we're not going to judge you. It's safe. Like, it's not really anything anymore that surprises us, especially this gal in the sense of what she went through, working with abused and neglected teenagers in the state of California. Need I say anything more? Oh, and they were stripped from their home for in one of the most liberal states in the nation. They were stripped from their home for reasons, different reasons. Like, there's a lot of heavy stuff there. But that's what I'm letting you know, that there's not much that surprises us because we've been through a lot and seen a lot through the years. We still love you. We will still love you, I promise. And again, that's not saying that anybody's hiding anything. It's just the reality and the truth that you can be real and raw and vulnerable with us. And the sooner you do that, the sooner that we can help you have a different story, hopefully a different outcome, because your story is what's creating your outcome. That's the bottom line.
And that's where, we changed our perspective, the lens, right? Recognizing the value of being triggered
That's right.
as an
Love that.
opportunity, right?
That. Yep.
It is highly valuable if we see it that way, and we don't choose to run from it or hide or suppress the trigger or what the trauma that is bringing up the trigger, right? When we're suppressing all that, again, it's controlling us. So, that's why I would say that it's your choice. You can see the trigger as an opportunity and move through it so that it no longer controls you.
That's right.
And
And we're just literally described in a different fashion triggers to triumph. 100%. We just went through it. Like, because that is the process of recognizing, being aware of things that um, you're suppressing, trauma, challenges, triggers, and triggers will help identify those. Triggers are opportunities for growth. Chantel, can you quote her on that? Because that's amazing. And I agree. They're opportunities for growth. So you recognize there's a trigger. Can we identify where it came from? First time we experienced that? Who do we need to forgive? Then we go through the forgiveness process, recognizing there's some kind of trauma there, and maybe there's layers, multiple people, not just one. Maybe there's one that we can remember,
there's
but
always layers, by the
there
way.
was, yeah. Most of the time we remember. I'm just going to tell
Unless
you.
you like to.
Yeah, true. Most of the time, here's what happens. You remember something like from your teenage years, especially if you're in your 30s or 40s, and you think that's really where the trauma was. And that was usually just the replay of the story, just saying. And then you're like, oh man, I keep repeating this thing and it happened in my teenage years. And I see, well, a lot of times through this process, triggers to triumph, we see that it's actually in the formative years that created that story. And so then we got to create a new story. And guess what? A lot of times you can't create it on your own, or you would have done it already. So you can, through reprogramming, you know, mind shifting your mind, renewing your mind, as the Bible says. It's super powerful. The practical side of that is really just reprogramming of the mind, disciplining the mind. And so you have the understanding, the awareness of the trigger, do the forgiveness work, write down who needs to be forgive, yourself, God is probably needs to be on that for sure, and release, bless, and then goodness, the empathy side, putting yourself in their shoes and understanding what they went through and what would cause them to do it to you. Hurt people hurt. That's the truth. And so then you're able to love them again, essentially, person or people that hurt you. Love them, forgive them, release them. And then the blessing side is like loving them to bless them, right? And again, there's layers. This is not necessarily overnight. I'm just saying the process. And then what is the news story? What is my hero story? Because I did survive that big challenge. And that's where then opening up to say, look, I'm facing these things are triggering me. Then we can help you, even like on a community mentorship. You can say, hey, these are my challenges. We keep it completely like private. And we just talk about those challenges you're facing and say, yeah, that's obvious. It's a trigger. Let's do this, and this. And let's get you to a new story. Let us help you see a new story, a new understanding, a new vision so that you can go towards something different and not stay stuck in that rut. And that's why this is a powerful process. And one of our, life activities, triggers to triumph should be something you make a part of your life activities because you're always going to find yourself stuck. And it's really a story that's got you stuck. And the MVP and the Epic 30, the three core life activities that we work on here and continue to work on. So, yeah.
Awesome.
We're good, right?
Yeah.
We only do 30 minutes or so. We're at 35. So, all right.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
And we'd love to hear from you. Like, comment, we'd love to hear questions for next week. Let us know how we can support you in what you're walking through.
That's right. So, blessings. We'll see you next week in our community connection time, community mentorship, community Q&A. Whatever you need, we want to be there for you and love you through it. Thanks for all the thumbs up and all the support and love. Blessings.
All right.
Have a great week.
Bye, guys.
See ya. All right. Well, you got to see us in action with our community Q&A here at Epic Your Life. And it's epicyourlife.school.com or the opposite.
School.com.
School, SKOOL.com/Epic Your Life. And that's what we do. We help Amish singles to find a godly spouse. We help marriages to become epic. And we help you create a legacy that is rooted in faith and freedom.